Welcome back to Newsbeat. Let's give you some more stories. The National Union of Ghana Students has announced plans to stage a demonstration on Tuesday, February 25, 2025, in protest against the withholding and cancellation of results of some students who sat for the 2024 West African Senior High School Certificate Examination, wassce. In a statement issued on Tuesday, NUCS strongly condemned WIEC's handling of the results, stating that the delay and cancellation have unfairly impacted thousands of students. Now, joining me via Zoom is Noah Osei Asenso, the chairman of NUCS Legal and Students' Rights Committee. Noah, thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Right. If you can speak up a bit. All right. So you had a press conference about 2 weeks ago on this issue or this matter. And what has been the feedback so far?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. On the 4th, we had a press conference, and after that, it's like WIEC is playing adamant. They feel they are the only examination body in Ghana, and for that matter, whatever they decide or determine to do is what must be upheld by anybody or must be complied by anybody. If you can remember, just last month, there was a High Court ruling compelling WIEC to release all results. What WIEC did or sought to do was to engage in legal gymnastics by filing stay of execution pending appeal. And if you file a stay of execution and you are saying that you want to appeal the earlier decision, what it does is that you expedite action on that. You halt all proceedings, you halt all activities. And then you go on to overturn the earlier decision by the lower court. But here is the case, once they filed a stay of execution, they are still inviting students in the name of what you call investigation, and still giving student directives to go and write report on what happened on the examination date, and still releasing partial results and cancelling some. In a case of a school, I would not like to put the name out yet, the total student that sat was 23. After this ruling, 2,300, after the High Court ruling, of which they were supposed to release all the 2,300, they went to file this stay of execution, asked the court to wait for that decision until they go in for appeal, invited some of the students, and released 136 out of the 2,300. 136, 5.91%. So WIEC, doesn't want to hear anything. And all that we are saying is that our students cannot wait anymore. The calls we are getting day in, day out, at midnight, parents, both guardians and students concerned, teachers, they are all frustrated. Even those who are here to write exams.
Okay, no. So you're expressing worry and challenge over calls and pressure that the students' body is receiving. How about the challenge of WIEC detecting examination anomalies and doing what they have to do? Or do you suspect that WIEC has some biases towards or against some students?
My dear friend, you've nailed it. It's a bias. How would you tell me that people sat for examination on a particular time T, and that you release some results, and then the other results, you will not finish with all your investigation and release the entire results, though that you think that they've done wrong, you will cancel them. But you said after the release of the results, where admissions are closed, you are still doing investigation. Okay, after your investigation and they are not guilty, what would be the use of the certificate? After universities or public institutions or all universities have closed admissions, what would they use the results for? So this is a pure case of bias. And they are being biased in the sense
I'm sorry. It cannot necessarily represent a clear case of bias, because WIEC as a body has no personal relationships with students. They handle them as examination bodies in general, and they have done this every year with a group of students that write exams. If even after investigation and your certificate is seen to be a fraudulent one, you don't blame WIEC for that, and that has nothing to do with whether you've been admitted into a university or not.
The point here we are saying is that WIEC is the conductor of the examination. he selects invigilators to supervise. He also employ people to mark. So if the one WAEC employed is marking and said, I've detected fraud or I've detected a malpractice, who does he line the complaint to? His employer, who is WAEC. WAEC now takes the decision that affects the students. The only remedy the students have is to go and re-register with WAEC again, which is their IGF, which is the main base of the IGF, to go and re-register with WAEC again and write off deck. So how would you tell me that WAEC has no interest? Because they don't know the students and all that they are doing is they are the complainant, they are the prosecutor, and they are the judge, and they are even the prison officers themselves in this case.
Yeah, so why don't you?
When was the day that you heard that there is examination or practice, and then one invigilator or the other is facing prosecution or is facing a punishment from WAEC? The only remedy WAEC has is that anytime they suspect, that the word suspect, and you are suspecting that I have engaged in more practice, and for that you've withheld my results, and then you release my results. I wrote the results. We are also dealing with time and years. I release my results. You release the results to me, and then admission had been closed. I have to sit down and wait for the next 1 year before I can apply into any institution. Do you know between that 1 year what will happen?
So what's next? Why don't you direct your grievances to a different educational body instead of WAEC, since they are their own bosses and masters and students?
That is why we are protesting. We will go to WAEC, and from there we'll go to Ministry of Education. Because even if WAEC is the WAEC cannot be the aggrieved party and be the adjudicating party itself. If WAEC suspects even a foul play, there should be even an independent body, so WAEC can make its case whilst the student come and also defend themselves.
Yeah.
So what we are saying is that the monopoly WAEC is enjoying is becoming too much.
Yeah.
And for that matter, we are going to appeal to the Ministry of Education. If better, we can have another examining body, then there will be competition.
Right.
Then there will be value for money.
Right. Noah, your point is made clear. Your point is made clearly. Look, Noah Osayasenso, chairman of NUCS Legal and Students' Rights Committee. I'm grateful for your time this afternoon. But we were also joined on the phone lines by head of legal for WAEC, Reverend Victor Brew, to respond to some of these concerns that have been raised by the students' body. Reverend, thank you for your time. You're welcome to Newsbeat.
Thank you for having me, and good afternoon to your viewers and listeners to you as well.
Good afternoon, Reverend. So it's been ages when WAEC has decided to handle its own affairs as far as students' examination or practices are concerned. These students' body NUCS have raised the concern that it's about time you include other educational bodies or councils or some institutions so that there will be fairness in your allegations of fraudulence in examinations. Is this welcoming?
Well, thank you very much. And let me say this, that a lot of the information put out there by my good friend, they are all factually inaccurate, a lot of them. The point is this, that if we are going to engage in such discussions, you have to check your facts. Look, the issue of another examining body is not a new thing that has, engaged the attention of the public and being advanced by various interested groups. If my good friend would do his research, he would get to know that conducting exam on such a large scale is not a job for minnows. And we welcome him to set up an examining body like WAEC and to conduct exams on such a large scale. And then we will all sit back and look at how they deal with the numerous malpractice incidents and whether they would look on for, all the results to be released, and they will see how the certificate was from such a body fares, even within 1 year. Look, my sister and my brother colleague on the other side, let us really be more serious with this matter. This matter has all of us as stakeholders to put our shoulders to the wheel to deal with it. The situation where some of us will take ourselves out and look at WAEC as a separate body, I think we should be long gone past this kind of thinking. I think we should add a lot of maturity to this matter. Look, examination malpractice is a serious business that we shouldn't play to the gallery with. You are talking about a situation where 1,003 schools have written exam. Out of it, 319 schools. If you look at the comparison, 390 schools out of 1,003 have been suspected to be involved. Their candidates, some of their candidates have been involved in examination malpractice, not even all the candidates. We have completed 249 schools out of the 319. We are left with 70 outstanding, and we are in the process of giving hearing to the 70 because the Supreme Court case of Awini versus WAEC enjoins us to give hearing to all affected candidates, which were things we were not really doing in times past. And so we are doing that, expending resources to give people opportunity to be heard. Parents mass up, NUCs gets together to demonstrate, and to ask that we release the results. Is that what we want to do?
Reverend,
we are in court.
Are you
yes.
saying that? Are you
we
saying
must
that?
respect the
Are you
court
saying
process.
that, Reverend, the request of NUCs to have WAEC involve other educational bodies to investigate allegations of examination malpractices is an immature request? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that it is not well placed at this point in time. It is not well placed, and such calls should be based on data. You know, we are talking about data-driven decisions.
Definitely, and when we look at the data, WAEC every year records and gives a report on examination malpractices. If there are examination malpractices, we expect that as we go, the numbers should be reducing because WAEC will be putting in certain measures to control and avoid or cut down the numbers as far as examination malpractices are concerned. But that is not happening. Yearly or annually, we see increase in examination malpractices. And since you're not doing anything to curb the situation, it is right in anybody's rights to call for other bodies to involve themselves, because WAEC also has an interest, and the students' body have been paying for their examination. It is just fair for them to be requesting for anything of that nature, and for you to describe it as immature, I don't think that's fair on the students' body.
Well, I'm not sure I said it's immature. I'm saying that we should apply maturity. I think that is what I said. So I feel that that should be corrected so that it is not taken out of context and people don't feel insulted. That is not it. I'm saying we should be very mature about it because examination issues are sensitive issues. There are issues about formation of our young ones as to doing things without cheating. You know, so let's really look at it. That's what I mean by apply maturity. And maturity in the sense that if you look at the data, we shouldn't paint a picture as if all students have had their results cancelled. We should balance the argument. So even if I'm focusing on the malpractice issue, the statement that since, quote, as you said, you are not doing anything about the malpractice, I'm not sure that is the point. We are doing a lot of things. In fact, because we are doing a lot of things, that's why we've been taken to court. And even with the court, let me correct this impression that it's as if the court has ordered that the results of all candidates whose results have been withheld should be released. No, it's some schools went to court, about 10,000 over candidates went to court. It is in respect of that. It will not be wise or prudent on the part of WAEC to stop work because a section of students have gone to court. I want to correct that impression. That will not be wise on WAEC's part to stop work because a section of
since we keep seeing an
students
increase
have gone to court.
By data, we keep seeing an increase in examination malpractices. What is
Yes.
WAEC doing? What are some of the measures they've put in place that obviously is not yielding results?
Okay, so that's great. Thank you for this point. Look, the point is that examination malpractice keeps increasing because the method and should I say disingenuous ways or negatively ingenious ways in which people try to still perpetuate examination malpractice is increasing. And you know, when it comes to corruption and cheating, nobody can have a hold over somebody's intention to cheat. That really is the point. And there are all these schools, private schools, who conduct May-June exams, who have various ways of ensuring that people are allowed to cheat. That's the challenge WAEC has. Now, if WAEC has to do anything, WAEC can do things like, swapping the questions, make attempts at serialization. People have talked about CCTV cameras in the examination halls. That will require more resources. And just to educate us, WAEC is for the 5 member countries, English-speaking countries in West Africa. And they contribute resources to keep WAEC going. So if you contribute 10 Ghana cedis, we can only work with 10 Ghana cedis. We cannot do anything. So this matter is bigger than just saying, a body should go and stop malpractice. It has to do with the resources required to be able to.
So in effect, it's not that WAEC is, developing ingenious ways to curb the ingenuity, but they also lack resources, financial resources. Is that what you're saying?
It's not mutually exclusive. We are developing ways, but then all these ways, we can't fund all of them. So, for example, if you talk about CCTV, nationwide, all these 1,003 schools, to provide CCTV for every school, really, that's quite big. That is in addition to printing cost. That is additional payment of staff. So it's an issue that when I say maturity, I mean, let's put the thing on the table. Let all stakeholders say, okay, what are your challenges? And so X, Y, Z are our challenges. And these are the methods that we want to use to curb examination malpractice. What are the funding gaps? And then government, can you provide? That is really helping with the discussion.
Right. Reverend Victor Brew, who's head of legal department, we're grateful for speaking to us here on Newsbeat.